Hi there and welcome to another lovely sunny beautiful afternoon in Sosnovka, one of our playthrough farms. Now while we've been doing our playthrough, we are always trying out new pieces of equipment. We've been on a very tight budget, so we've had to make best with what we've got. And today we're here to talk about this Metal Fach bale wrapper. We'll have a quick look in the shop in baling technology. He's right here. He's only 8,650 to buy. Which makes him the cheapest. He also has a very low daily maintenance of $12, which compared to the McHale's, that's $180 for the cheap McHale. So it's a very cheap option, which we like the sound of very much. Now when you come to buy it, you can buy it with or without what it calls a bale stacker. Now the bale stacker is this piece on the back, which is going to tip your bales up so they stand up on their end. I actually prefer them laid on their side anyway, so I can stack them up on my bale trailer. Now we're going to try to wrap some bales, and yeah, this is where things can get a little bit interesting, and if you haven't kind of got the hang of this or haven't twigged it, now I can unfold the bale wrapper, I can lower the bale wrapper, but what I cannot do is pick up a bale. This has no automatic pickup, which leaves me rather stuck. We have another bale wrapper over there. That's the one without the bale stacker. We'll get to him later. Right, so we're going to put our friend here, and we're going to get some assistance in the form of this lovely Zeta, who, as you can see, one of his jobs is to mow. He's a very useful little tractor. He's going to come over. He's going to help our friend by putting a bale on the bale wrapper for him. So there we go. We're going to put that down nice and gently as we can. Now if we're very quick, we can jump into that tractor and we'll catch that bale and we can wrap it. But they often fall off. They often just roll away from you. It's not a very good system. It can be a little bit frustrating, and it means you've got to have two tractors here to do it. Now if you're playing multiplayer, probably not a problem. Quite a sociable little job to do. Now we're going to unload the bale. And you can choose which side he goes with this right stick. There you go. Right. So what can we do to make this a little bit more efficient using it like this? Well, what we can do is go to the menu and switch automatic engine start off. That way, when we get out of this machine, the engine's still running and it will still wrap bales. Now this applies to all bale wrappers actually. And in case you hadn't noticed that, yeah, that's why if you leave the vehicle wrapping the bale, it'll stop wrapping. You need your auto engine start switched off and it will carry on. Right, so now the Schlurter is still running, the machine is still running. There you go. So solo with two tractors with the engine running, that's not a very tricky job at all. But we like to do things a little bit more efficiently around here. So I experimented and had a thought. Now to do this, you need the version without the stacker, which as I say is fine for me because it actually leaves them how I like them, which is on their side. So we unfold him, we're going to lower him, and now you need bale spikes to do this. Pallet forks aren't long enough, and that was what confused me initially. But here we go. With the spikes we can pick up the bale, let it slide down, and then there you go. We've just fed ourselves a bale. We can lift the wrapper up off the ground, bring him over here, pop into the Schlurter, he'll carry on wrapping, get the bale sold. So that is how you use this mod. It's very nice. very compact. It's great for some of the smaller farmyards. It's got good detail, good animation, but can prove very frustrating until you use either the self-loading method or use a second tractor, but with manual engine start switched off. So that is all I really have to say about that. It's a fantastic mod once you get the hang of it. We're going to jump back in the little Zeta. We're going to unload the bale. There he goes. Drop the bale wrapper off there. And indeed the front arms. And we're going to go and see another mod made by the same modder, who incidentally goes by the moniker VNSFDG2, which rolls off the tongue. He's made a selection of mods available on the mod hub. Not many of them seem to be available on the Xbox, which is where I'm playing. This is the second of them, and this is, again, this is almost a game changer, this one. This is a potato harvester, the Akpil Bulwar. Let's have a quick look in the shop. He is in potato harvest, and we don't have to look very far to get him, because the selection, even with the mods, I've not found another mod that will harvest potatoes. If you know one, please let me know. It's the Akpil Bulwar 2. It costs 12,200 to buy it. To lease it, well, let's have a look. Just under $1,000. Now, the other cheapest alternative is this to take off the foliage and this to pick up the potatoes. That's 10 times the price to buy it or to lease it. Basically, $10,000 or $1,000 to lease, or $12,000 or $21,000 to buy. This machine also needs nothing to take the foliage off first, so it's a one-hit machine. Now, using it can prove again a little bit quirky until you get the hang of it. So let's have a look at that. Maintenance is only $40 a day as well, so very cheap and cheerful. Now, little Zeta is going to take control. It needs about 80 horsepower. You probably can go a little bit lower. Now, what you need to do, get him up to the field, and we're going to just employ a worker. You could do all of this manually, but I do recommend doing this with a worker because it works in a different way. I'm going to set the worker going. Now you can see the potato action going on there. It is actually filling up. It has no gauge to say it has a capacity or that it's filling up. In fact, the worker there has just given up on doing the field completely. So that's a field boundary issue here that only seems to apply to potatoes. You can see he didn't plant the whole of that end strip, so excuse me while I bring him round again. We'll just start him here. There'll be no issues. So he's going to keep running until the grain tank is full, even though there's no dial, as I said. So there we are. Now he's a little bit fussy now about where he will empty. In fact, he won't even empty there at all. In fact, he has. He's just proved me wrong. I couldn't get him to empty on the field before. Now we'll set the worker going again, and hopefully he's going to leave a line of potatoes on the field. Right now, this guy will harvest this whole field, leaving the potatoes in rows on the surface. But you do have to do that first stage where he stops. You need to dump the potatoes. Larry let me do it on the field. I think the issue was before there were scraps of straw on the field confusing him in some way, and I'll talk a little bit more about that when we pick these potatoes up, because you're going to end up with, from this field, about 170,000 litres of potatoes, so be prepared to move them. We've let the harvester get on for 20 minutes and he's done about a third of that field. It takes him an hour. The thing is, you can just completely leave him to do that. He's not going to need any kind of attention whatsoever. With the more expensive potato harvesters, they don't have very big capacities themselves. They do need a lot of attention, especially the cheaper version, the one that you pull along. So that hour is when you're just doing completely other stuff. You know, you go and do your forestry, look after your animals, look after your fields, leave him to it. You cannot replicate, or I've been completely unable to replicate, the laying of the potatoes on the ground like that whilst you're doing it manually. So just leave the worker to do it. And now for picking it up, we're going to use the snow blower, the BioBelt snow blower, which we need to get the pipe out. and then we can fire him up, and he's got a nice little angry animation when I've unfolded him. There you go. Just swirls everything into the middle and sucks them up the pipe. Now, as I said, we're going to get 178,000 litres of potatoes out of this whole field, somewhere around there. If you plant barley in this field, you get 15,000. So that's something to bear in mind. So now all we need to do, in fact, first, you can let a worker do this. He'll do it at 6 miles an hour. He'll do it quite happily. However, again, that takes a reasonable amount of time. If you do this manually, there's basically no speed limit on how fast you can go as long as the ground's flat. So picking these up after you've left this guy alone for an hour to harvest them really isn't any kind of big chore. Your only limitation is your trailer sizes, and this field is going to be 9 of these 20,000 litre trailers. I'm going to take him back up here. I am going to stop him before he fills up though, because to do this and to do it without having to mess around, you need to have a very clean field, both on the field and around the field boundary, and there's a reason for that. Is the snow blower will pick up whatever's in front of it. It won't discriminate. So if we go along here, it's going to suck up some of that straw, but it now can't empty that straw anywhere because we've got a tipper of potatoes. So what you're going to need to do, if you do get that situation, it can be very frustrating to figure out what is going on. We'll just turn him off and lift him so we can turn around in here. You're going to need another tipper somewhere close by. That'll blow the straw into it, and then we can get back over here and carry on planting sucking up potatoes. So there you go. We're going to let the worker continue with that for a moment. So that is the Akpil Bulwar 2 potato harvester. It saves you so much money. If you pay for the cheapest alternative equipment to harvest potatoes, the first 54,000 litres of potatoes at least are going to be paying just for that cost. This is so much cheaper, and in terms of profit, we probably made an extra $24,000 out of this field harvesting potatoes over what we would have for harvesting barley. So I thoroughly recommend these 2 mods on a small farm. I've shown you how they work. Just give them a little time to get used to them, and they will save you a lot of money and leave you free to do a lot of other jobs. So thank you very much for watching. Hope you've enjoyed it. Leave us a like if this has been at all useful for you. Share it to whoever you'd like to share it to. Subscribe to the channel. Our playthroughs are basically long-winded tutorials. We tutorialise all the way through as we play with things, break things, and figure out how to do things. So please feel free to join us on those. Take care and goodbye.